Merrimack TV is committed to our community. From gavel-to-gavel coverage of town and school board meetings to updates on town services and projects, we aim to keep you connected.
Steve?
Good morning, I'm Kyle
I don't
Fox,
see Nancy
Public Works
Murphy yet.
Director for the town of Merrimack.
Hi, I'm Diane Trippett. I'm the town clerk tax collector for the town of Merrimack.
I'm Captain Matt Tarleton with the Merrimack, New Hampshire Police Department.
And keep the public informed of every motion
All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
and many moments, so you can be confident that we're here for you. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Follow Merrimack TV on Facebook.
All right, thanks, Nick. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. This is the May 3rd, 2021 meeting of the Merrimack Conservation Commission. Due to COVID-19 precautions and in accordance with Governor Sunun's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04, extended by Executive Order 2021-06, this commission is authorized to meet electronically. As stated, the agenda or this meeting is being aired on Merrimack TV channel 20. Telephone access is available for members of the public wishing to provide comment. The call-in number for that is 1-312-626-6799. Also identified in the agenda was the opportunity for the public to submit feedback to comdev@merrimacknewhampshire.gov. And in accordance with RSA 91-A-2 Roman numeral 3, each member of the commission will state for the record where they are, who's with them, whether they can hear the audio, and why they're participating remotely. I'll go ahead and go first. I am participating remotely due to coronavirus precautions. I can hear the audio. I am alone in an office where I work. I think that's it. Mike Blaver.
Hi, I'm Mike Blaver, participating remotely because of COVID-19. I'm alone in this room at this time, and I can hear the audio just fine.
Excellent. Thank you, Mike. Gina.
I'm Gina Rossetti. I'm participating electronically from home. Attendance in person is not reasonably practical due to COVID-19. I am alone in the room I am in, and I can hear the proceedings.
Thank you. Gage.
I'm Gage Perry. I'm participating remotely due to COVID-19 restrictions. I'm alone in this room and I can hear everything just fine.
Thank you. Eric.
I'm Eric Starr, participating electronically due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I am alone in this room and I can hear everyone just fine.
Fantastic. Mike.
I'm Mike Druin. I'm participating remotely because of COVID-19. I'm alone in this truck and I can hear everyone fine.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mike. Tim.
Yeah, I'm Tim Tenhave. I am participating remotely due to precautions with COVID-19. I'm alone in this room and I can hear everyone just fine.
Fabulous. As we do with all these virtual meetings, all votes will be by roll call. Mike Druin, would you please serve as a voting member in place of Cindy tonight?
Yes.
And Tim, would you also serve as a voting member tonight?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to the agenda. There are apparently no members of the public waiting to make public comment at this time. I do see Mr. Delabec, I do see you on there. You have an agenda item, so we'll get to you here very shortly. Thank you for your patience. We have no public hearings tonight. We have no appointments tonight. There are no items of statutory or advisory business tonight, which brings us to new business items. And the first item we have on the agenda is Mr. Scott Delabec, tapping trees on town land located between Robin Lane and Eagle Drive. Scott, if you'd like to just take us through that, give us a high-level summary. We were all provided your packet presentation.
Okay, thanks a lot. Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were providing. Excuse me for looking down because I'm looking at what you were provided. Yeah, I just got it on my phone. So many of you were present when I presented a few years back. Back in 2016, I was looking to tap some trees over at Wasserman Park at the land that's adjacent to the entrance to the facility. At that time, it was noted that because of the covenants that were on the land, that if I found another piece of land that would work, that'd be great, and then we could revisit it at that time. So kind of the same presentation I gave then is, it's been a little hobby of mine that I've started doing maple syrup here at my home, and every year it's grown and grown. I took a couple years off because I actually was overseas for work. I got back home in 2018, and I started the hobby back up, and it continues to grow. I'm now currently tapping 4 locations in town, and I've never bothered to really even look at the land next to me to see the maple trees that are in there, because there's a lot of big pines. But this year I started running a tubing system on my property, and with a little vacuum pump to see how it would work. And I actually had really good results. So then I started exploring the piece of land to the left of my home, and there are a good amount of maple trees in there. Most of them are hidden because of all the big pines, but they are there. So it would be feasible for me to actually try and do it now and have one more central location where I could stop tapping at some of the other locations that I'm doing, which would save me some time and just the logistics of it, having to pump the sap out at night and bring it home and then process it. So I was just looking to try to use the resource that's right here available to me.
Excellent. Just for the record, this is town-owned land. It's not a Merrimack Conservation Commission managed property, correct?
Well, from what Becky Thompson at the town hall said, that it is somehow listed under the conservation umbrella. So that's why she thought it'd be best for me to come this route. And then Sharon also, I guess, did a little bit of research and just told me this is the right route that I should be taking.
Okay. And all the commissioners, we were all provided the minutes from your last appearance many years ago. Right. And the dialogue that went on there. Who has questions?
So Steve?
Yes.
So I'm not sure this is a conservation property. And the reason why I state that is it is not either parcel, neither one of them is designated as proposed for Chapter 111 when we were putting our latest update to Chapter 111 together. In fact, my understanding is, and I'd have to go back and double check, and I was searching for it before the meeting started, is that this parcel was actually on a list of potential places where ball fields could go as part of the athletic fields study that was done, well over 10 years ago now. So, or about 10 years ago now. So, I'm not sure we have a stake in the fire. It's not in Chapter 111 currently, so. But I don't doubt that it's conservation kind of related, because if I recall, many years ago we took up a different issue on the property. But as far as I know, we have no real tie to it.
Right.
Yeah, I know on the piece of land there's a drainage ditch, and there's some DPW sewer pipes that are in there, and I think it's more for storm overflow. But other than that, there's no hiking trails. My neighbor across the street's lived here about 30 years, and he said at one time there used to be snowmobile trails back through there, but they get cut off because of all the developments that have happened. So I'm not sure it's ever really been conservation land that was used for conservation purposes, I guess I should say.
Yeah, and it's probably unlikely that did community development recommend, or did they give you advice on whether you'd have to go before town council on this?
No, they haven't. I presented this to Becky at the town council first, and somehow she received word that it has to come to you guys. So this is why I didn't go to them originally. Actually, my first submission was to the town council, and they redirected me to you guys first. And I think after we have this meeting, I guess I go back to the town council.
Yeah, since it is town land, my understanding would be the town council would have to be involved, just like last time.
And we could obviously make a recommendation.
Correct.
It's that would be about as far as we could go, and
perhaps that's all they're looking for, Gage, is just to make sure that we've at least touched base on the topic and that you guys are aware of what was going on.
So you initially, when the last time you came before us, you were just tapping with buckets or sacks. Now
yes,
you're going to be intending to run lines this time.
Yeah.
With a vacuum pump.
With a vacuum pump.
How are you getting power over there?
Well, my backyard is right here. I have power in my backyard.
Okay, so it's that close.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've got lines set up on my own property already that I ran with the vacuum pump this year. It's really just to extend it out and just use the trees that are back there.
Scott, I think the last time you came before us, you were looking to go into Wasserman or something, and here it's a totally different location by your house.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the circumstances are quite different. There's no hiking trails or anything going through there, because we wouldn't want the tap lines to interfere with anything the public is using. So it seems to be a different situation.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is something else that the town council is going to have to. I'm assuming that now you're getting to a point where you're processing and a vacuum pump and lines. You're probably selling this.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is, if there's going to be town property used in a commercial sale, that's definitely something that the town council is going to have to weigh in on.
Yeah. And I do understand that. It's something that I've thought about, and I think we discussed it the last time when Mr. Tenhave was the chairman, and
right.
Yeah, it was brought up at that point too.
Yeah, last time you had a proposed agreement with the town attorney and everything, I thought.
Yeah. I mean, it looked pretty good, but in a way, I'm kind of glad that didn't happen, because it would have maybe limited me on doing what I've been doing now with the other properties that I've been tapping, because I might have focused a little bit too much over there.
I don't know that they will, but if the town council did reach out to us for feedback, is it safe to say that this commission has no reservations about this proposal? Anyone?
Go ahead, Tim.
So it's certainly a precedent thing, and that's something that the town council is going to have to deal with. So I won't go there. I'll let them decide whether or not they want to go forward with this because of setting a precedent for utilizing town property in that manner. We ended the same thing when some people wanted to take firewood off our properties. The trees are down. We'll just take them out of your way and whatever. So. The only other thing is we certainly don't want to hurt the trees. So there would have to be some limitation to number of taps or something like that. And I think, Scott, you should address that in your presentation to them.
I can certainly update the one that I have. I mean, currently I use what the industry standards are based on the size of the tree. I mean, no more than 3 taps per tree. Most of them only have 1 tap. Some have 2. That's about it.
Yeah. So that would be my concern, is that, whatever we do with the trees, that we don't cause them undue harm. So as long as we follow industry standards, then I would think that's acceptable. I know there are members of this town who think 1 tap is too many, so you'll have to deal with that in case they raise that objection. So once safety is addressed and for the public, as well as for yourself, because you'll be on town property, doing some activity. So there's going to be a liability concern. I don't think I have any other real reservations then.
Yeah, there's many towns within the state that lease out their town land for people to tap, or even some of the state forests, they lease parcels of it out to people that tap trees. And it's just utilizing the resource. It's not a money-making venture by any means. If any of you've ever tried it, it's actually very expensive to make syrup. That's why it costs you $60 a gallon to buy it. It's not, I'm certainly not making much money off of this. I keep spending everything that I have on more equipment. So it's more of a fun thing that it just, as you get into it more and more, you just need more sap, and it just keeps it going.
Yeah, one thing I'd also in the presentation might be worthwhile is to address longevity wise, like, retapping the same tree and making sure we're not, going back into the same hole, making sure the holes are healed up before we're tapping again, things like that. I just, we have a lot of people that are concerned about tapping trees, period. So
sure. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like the maple farms and stuff that are real big businesses. They've been tapping those trees for 100 years. It's just, as long as you use sanitary taps, I use new taps every year, use holes that are away from the other holes,
right.
Move the lawns around each year. The trees recover really well.
Okay.
During a snowstorm, if a branch breaks, you'd actually lose more sap out of the tree than you would from a tap.
No, I'm not arguing. I'm just saying we know we get some of the complaints, so I'm trying to. If you can address them in your write up, then that would be, would be well served for you. So
absolutely, thank you.
Anyone else want to make comments to this item? No. Okay. Well, thank you, Scott, for joining us tonight. Thank you for taking the time to put together this presentation and talk to us about the project. I'll wait, and if we hear something from the town council, which I'm not sure we will on this issue, if we do, we'll provide them that feedback we just reviewed.
Great. Thanks a lot. I appreciate your time.
Thanks. And I'd like to welcome Councilor Murphy joined us.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I was late. Thank you, Mike, for the link. It took me a while to type it in on my laptop. So, thank you. I'm delighted to be part of the group. Okay, what is the meeting schedule? What is your meeting schedule? Just I want to make sure I put it in my.
Well, right now, and I can send it to you. Right now, we're the first and third Monday of every month. There's a couple months, I think, 2 months during the year, February and September, where we only have one scheduled meeting. We may have to adjust our meeting schedule just because in July we want to return to in-person meetings, and I know there's some scheduling conflicts if we have to use the Matthew Thornton room. Traditionally we haven't, but if we have to use that, we need to probably look at going second and fourth Monday, or picking another night of the week where we're not going to conflict with the school board or someone else using that meeting room.
Great. Well, thank you.
And my apologies. I should have sent you the Zoom invite to this today. I didn't realize it until
no worries. No worries.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. We're moving on in the agenda. The next item we had was the UNH student field study. And I think this went out in the packet too. In short, it's Andrew Butler is a PhD student at UNH, Department of Natural Resources and the Environment. He's looking to do a project, basically a study of fur bearers on Conservation Commission managed lands. He would be doing this in the fall. He has sent, and I think everyone got this, he sent a whole a proposal, his project research proposal. Basically, it's a 2-page document that just outlines some of his objectives, research objectives for that. He would, for a temporary period, like to install game cameras or some sort of cameras. The project timeline was April and May was to coordinate site access. July and August set up trail cameras. September and October add scent lure to a subset of cameras, set up track stations and check track stations. And then next April and May, he would remove all the cameras and so forth. Greater Woods, Wildcat Falls are the 2 parcels that he's looking at doing this on. I don't know that, I don't think he would need a resolution or, make a motion or anything here. Did anyone have concerns or feedback that would like to give to him, or do we just simply give him the green light? Gina?
I did speak with the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee, and they are they're supporting his work at Wildcat Falls. Their recommendation is that he is on the North Loop Trail. They feel that by the river he will get the best pictures, and because there's a lot of brush and stuff there for the animals to go in and out of because they like to hide. But I think they would be happy to make recommendations. Their only concern is, theft of cameras. So, but if you would just like to point out to him that those who are in the know of Wildcat Falls recommend the North Loop Trail for him, especially by the river.
Fantastic. I've got that note. Anyone else? Tim?
So while I'm sure he wants to be discreet about this to avoid attention to his setups, do we think it's important to alert people that there is potential cameras in use on the property? We don't normally do that when we're looking for people doing bad things on our property, but I just thought I'd ask the question.
Yeah, I'm there's no preponderance of requirement to have, as long as we're not recording audio, video is perfectly legal in public locations. So I don't really think that we need to worry about putting up any kind of signs, because we put cameras out there now. There's cameras out there now.
Yeah.
And and again, like we do it when we have theft or damage issues going on. I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah. Yep. Just thought I would raise it. Then the other question is do you think he would like some advice about where he might be placing the setup on the properties? Because we could probably provide him some input as to what areas are more heavily traveled or not.
Isn't he a grad student? Was that his?
He is. He's working in partnership with Fish and Game, so we can certainly offer that.
Yeah, we could certainly offer our assistance, but I feel he's probably going to go out there and survey the areas and decide what he wants to look at.
Yeah.
I mean, we can give him our uneducated guesses.
If he decides that he doesn't want to put the cameras on North Loop Trail and he wants to go instead to the right of way for Eversource, does he need to get Eversource's permission, or do you have any thoughts on that, anyone?
I don't think he needs that permission.
Okay.
As long as he doesn't do anything that's outside of our of the easement that we provided them, which is basically he's not going to build a building, so I don't think there's an issue there.
Okay. I know there have been some hunters. Someone has a tree stand and he has a camera up there, so I wasn't sure.
Anyone else?
Is he planning on installing these all by hand, or is he going to be bringing ladders in there or anything like that? It might just be worthwhile for him to, if he's going to be bringing equipment in to do any work, that he can notify us, and we can notify the police that there's going to be some activity in that area.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We get we have a lot of people that watch these properties and they're very concerned about them. So they see unusual activity, they get angry. So we might just be able to short circuit that a little bit.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't see that in his document, so I'll go ahead and ask him that.
Yeah, just if he could just give us a heads up when he's going to be in there, we'll notify the subcommittees and we can notify the police. So if there's any calls or complaints, they'll have a heads up.
Yeah, he might want to carry some sort of ID as well, or some sort of identification.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else?
Do you want me to reach out and let Amy know to put something on the Courier Road neighborhood? They have like a forum or something.
Okay. Yeah.
I'd very much like to have some copies. If you get some good pictures of interesting wildlife, I'd really like to make sure we get copies of it so we can put it up on the website. And even the research he finds, I'd like to that research would be available to us. We've spent a lot of money on properties, wildlife investigations on these properties. It would be nice to catalog this as part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. The next item we have on the agenda under new business is the open space survey. We all have Tim's, the spreadsheet Tim sent out. So Tim, I'll turn this over to you.
All right, let me just clear up my screen so I can share and not share everything else on my screen. All right, so I won't take too long. All right, so you should be able to see the spreadsheet now. So this started because a gentleman from the Amherst Conservation Commission reached out and asked through Gina, what % of our town land do we have reserved for conservation? It was a data item that he wanted to include because they're actively working a warrant article for their own town warrant, which their town meeting was delayed until June because of COVID concerns. And Rob, I believe his name was, had mentioned that that last time there was 8-point-something% of Merrimack. A data point he was given back when that there was 8-point-something% of Merrimack's land was managed for conservation, and that was in 2014. And honestly, I have no idea where that number came from or who provided it. I think I was chairman of the Conservation Commission at that time. It was certainly right about the time where things changed over. I believe that predates Gage being chairman and Matt being chairman. So, but again, I'm not sure. I mean, it's possible that was while Andy was still with us. I'm not quite sure of the timing, but neither here nor there. Gina and others, and even Matt Karen got involved with this email stream, had thought, if we just add up a few of the big parcels, we should be able to get it. And then Gina suggested, I believe, that if we just add up everything that we're proposing for Chapter 111, that should give us the right number. And I wanted to do a little research before I bought into that. So I lost track of a few things, and lo and behold, I found that with our newer tools, GIS tools and the other, that it's harder for us to get this kind of data in a spreadsheet exported off. I found that I could get it through the National Regional Planning Commission and got the data and just started going through it. Instead, I'd start looking at all the parcels that are not only town parcels, but let's take a look at the school district, which is also owned by the voters. And let's look at Merrimack Village District, because that's also owned by the voters. And so let's look in totality and just look at a few things. So when all was said and done, I decided that the number that we should pass along to Rob was all the land that we had proposed to go into the Chapter 111 update, which we'll talk a little bit more about, that's coming up. And when you do that, it turns out that 9.64% of the land in Merrimack is actively managed for conservation. And that number is at that level because since we started the Chapter 111 process a couple of years ago, we've actually, as a town in the Conservation Commission, acquired 2 new parcels that enlarged Greater Woods another 100 acres. And that's how that number comes about. But in putting all this data together, I thought it might be worth just showing all of you, what was included. There's a lot of formulas embedded in the spreadsheet, and then just kind of highlight a few things. So what I'm going to do is go to the second tab in the spreadsheet and just kind of show you some of the charts I did, because the data was easy to get. So if you looked at the town-owned land, what you're going to find is, using my definition of open, which means basically no buildings on them, about 75% of the land that the town owns, whether that's town by itself or town with Conservation Commission, is open land, meaning there's no real structures on the land and it's just available. And then there's a whole host of other things, anywhere from parks to islands. I even included islands in here because we own islands both in Natticook Lake, Blueberry Island we own, and then we own 4 islands or 5 islands in the Merrimack River. So we have 9% of the town-owned land has buildings on it. So that could be fire station, police station, town hall complex, and stuff like that. I didn't really nitpick too deeply with this because, as we know, the town hall complex is got the town hall on it, and it's got a couple of garages and stuff. But we also have Abbey Griffin Park, which is an open space, and I didn't try to extract those acres out completely. But I just thought it would be kind of curious, since I had the data and I was doing the analysis, just to share with you, what it looks like. But I do have on the previous sheet how many acres that are part of the town. I think it's around 2,600 acres, but 3/4 of it is open. So there's possibilities there. Some of it for conservation, some of it for future athletic fields, or even something else down the road. So some of the parcels, though, are being held. They're open now, but they're being held for potential uses, for municipal uses, like upgrading the sewer system and extending it out to Babusick Lake area. That whole neighborhood in there is something that that certainly needs some looking at, and then a few other items as well. So then I broke down the school land. You can see that the school owns some parcels, and about 27% of the land that the school district owns is also open. And that includes the easement area around the middle school, as well as a couple of other parcels that the school has acquired over time and probably won't use for buildings. And some of it's near some of our land. So you put it together and you have some large parcels of potential conservation use. But the vast majority, 72% of their land, is used for schools. And that would include their athletic fields and all the other things that go with the schools themselves. Then looking at the Merrimack Village District, similar kind of analysis for open land. It's a much smaller chunk. It's only 3%. And the reason why I did that is it's hard to say a large chunk, many acres of land, which is designated for a well. Is it open? Because the well building itself is pretty small. It's like the size of a garage. And there's a dirt gravel road that gets you in and out of it. But I chose not to try and nitpick it. We could, if you wanted to get more granularity. But that's it. Land that I was, that I do know has wells on it is about, a third of their land. Another third of their land supports the towers. So besides the wells, the Merrimack Village District has a number of towers set up strategically around the building, around the town, in order to maintain pressure and have reserve for various events that could happen. And about a third of their land, a little less of it, is devoted to their garages and their office space and stuff like that. So that's just some inputs on and graphic. There's a lot of other data extractions you could do, data analysis. I'm not a data analysis person, but I've seen people go crazy when you show them good spreadsheets. But just to give you a feel for what I did, the parcel IDs are set up by the town. The owners in this column is pretty straightforward. Where I had discretion is here in column C, and getting into, what is the type of the land? So, I settled on a few different things for type. By the way, we do have some swampland as well. You could drill that down deeper if you wanted to, but those are the things that I chose to look at. So that's, subjective in some ways, you might say. Qualified, this land here, this column here was really trying to understand, is there a use designated for it? So land that I called hold is because I believe from our work on chapter 111 and from being in town forever and being a town councilor back 10 years ago and understanding that, what goes on in that role, I believe these are parcels that the town has a potential future use for. Not just means it's simply not open. So that's probably a building or something like that. I also separated out park space so we could have a feel for how much land is in park. And I started going down that idea of partially open, trying to figure out how much land on a large parcel is really open or not. I have a few examples in here, but it got to be really tedious if you really wanted to get that exact. And quite honestly, I felt that a parcel that has a building on it, but maybe have a lot of land associated with it, probably wouldn't be used for a conservation use because something else might come up. So beyond that, got acreage counts. I've got a column here that says, is it in the proposed chapter 111 update that we're doing? And then, if I knew information about the parcel or, if it had a name to it, I put that here in column J. And then column K is pretty straightforward. That's the address of the parcel. Where we have backlots that have no street address, it's pretty much the address that I found in the database. I tried not to extrapolate a closer street than the one that was already done. And then some other information that just came for free when I did the export. So, and then just kind of wrap it up. So the charts you saw on the other tab all come from these little tables here. Like I said, everything is driven by formulas. They're pretty simple formulas using Excel. So that way, if you were to change an open lot to now a building lot, everything would readjust and the charts would all go and everything would be magic and you can do it all. So I certainly recommend if anyone wants to play with this spreadsheet that if you see there's a formula connected with a cell, just realize that it'll have impacts. But altogether, there's 3,130, yeah, let me get that right, 3,096 acres of land between all three entities, the town, the school, and the village district. The town acres are 2,600, so a good part of that. Village district is a little over 200, and the school is close to 250 acres. And that's kind of it in a nutshell. I figured if someone wants to know how much land is considered conservation down the road, if people just keep the spreadsheet up to date, it should be pretty straightforward for the next person who might want it. And now you all have it. I did send a copy to Sharon. I'm hoping she will save that in the server area where all the other conservation files are being saved. And that's it. I'm all done. Any questions?
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I have a question. What about conservation easements and the land developers set aside after they're done the development, the leftover land?
Yeah, so it turns out the town and the Conservation Commission only have one easement when it comes to conservation purposes. The town has many easements for utility right-of-ways and all that on all sorts of parcels, including probably your own property on, there's probably a town easement to allow utilities and things like that. But when it comes to conservation easements, all there is the one that's out at the middle school, which was granted to the town, even though it's middle school property. And then, you brought up, developments where there's leftover acres. Most of those are considered backlots. And I think I've addressed most of them here in this area here. So when I show type, you can see backlot is here. So you can see where a lot of those extra parcels that developers gifted to the town ended up. Just as a data point, a lot of the backlots came to us in the 70s and 80s when that was fairly common. We decided in the 2000s in the Conservation Commission to discourage backlots because backlots, given to the town, it's a better solution than to divide it around with 100 shares to all the property owners. But what we were hoping to do with backlots and what we were discouraging was to just gift it to the town in a quick deed. More, we would like to see the backlots, gifted to the town with some sort of a conservation easement over them, which secures them from ever being developed or utilized in a manner that precludes them being open space. A lot of our back lots are along brooks and rivers. You'll see in my comments under common name in information, there's a whole bunch of lots along Babusick Brook. We own a lot of land along Babusick Brook, which is really great for saving that. That's a very important, waterway here in town. So hopefully, Mike, that answers your question.
Yep, thank you.
Kim, this is absolutely phenomenal. And I guess my biggest question to you is, because I know me as a mere mortal would never be able to do this. I mean, I'm trying to think of when we might get another person on the Conservation Commission that has been a town councilor, has been the chair of the Conservation Commission, has been on the NRPC, and that is as good on the computer as you. And I'm wondering, is this something that maybe ComDev would consider keeping up with? That maybe you could give it to, I don't know, Robert Price or Tim Thompson and say, I did this, now possibly you guys could keep up with it when something happens?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Sharon has a copy, so so she can, also do that. But I'm happy to reach out.
I'm just thinking. I know this. I could not do this. This is way over my skill set. So I'm just thinking this is absolutely a vital tool, and would be great to keep up with. But I mean, I don't know if anybody on the Conservation Commission right now would be comfortable taking it over, or if it's something that we should have a town employee take over, because, I don't know.
Yeah. The nice thing is that Tim has obviously done the lion's share of this and the
Right.
heavy lifting. The upkeep of this should be pretty straightforward, because we're not growing land. So the lot changes shouldn't really be that dramatic. And if their classification change, again, like Tim said, we're just going to be changing individual qualifiers in there, and it should be kept easy, relatively easy to keep up, hopefully.
Yeah.
So you're going to take it over then, Gage?
Oh yeah, sure. I'll just write it right on. But that's the thing, if ComDev's going to have a lot better input to this, because they're going to see. We only get to see, things that are impacting conservation property. They're going to be ones that will see them impacting school district and everything else. So it's going to be worthwhile for this to be done on ComDev. But yeah, we can talk to them about that. We'll certainly provide our input to them when we make some changes in the conservation side. But MVD and school district are going to have to kind of do the same.
Well, thank you very much for doing this, Tim. That was a tremendous amount of work, and I did not expect when I asked you for your input on this for it to turn into this. This is amazing.
Yeah, this is great, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
And that's a good suggestion, Gina.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't expect it to turn into this either, but I got into it. It's a little bit of a passion dealing with land. When I was a town councilor, we sold some parcels that I got into all of this kind of stuff before. So it seemed rather natural that I just kind of go with it. Unfortunately, I think my data made it to Rob probably a little later than he wanted it to, but it's neither here nor there now.
No, thanks again for doing it.
Yep. All right, I will stop sharing at this point and turn the meeting.
All right. Well, thanks again, Tim. That's amazing work. The next item we had on the agenda was the final item under new business was possible funding as part of the American Rescue Plan. Everyone should have had a copy of this in their packet. I don't know if someone wants to start the discussion on this. I guess with the first task would be to identify some projects that we think would be the most worthy candidates to submit for this sort of funding.
If I may, Steve.
Yes, please.
Sorry to monopolize the meeting, but
No.
so I did, I was one, and probably others thought the same thing, thought that we should discuss this tonight. But there's quite a bit of money involved here, potentially. And we have a couple of projects that we should consider. And one of them that's a little bit near and dear to my heart, and I won't be around to see it get done, at least not as a member of the Conservation Commission. I hope to be around a long time, is completing that bypass trail off of South Grader Road. We talked about it, just a couple of months ago here in one of our meetings about potentially, combining it with a forestry project. There was some apprehension there, which I understand. We've talked about it in a number of different ways, but that's a $50,000 to $70,000 project that Don, with assistant director of Public Works, has kind of laid it all out and got numbers for, and I think we have enough information where we could suggest that project and see if we get there, because not that we don't have potential dollars to do the project, but if we could get it done another way, it will provide a huge safety net around the west side of Greater Woods, and an area now where we run the potential of having issues if someone gets hurt out there or there's a fire out there. So I was thinking that project, and thought that would be a great idea. I'm not sure if it fits the bill, and it might be too expensive, but there's also the bridge over the Sauhegan River at Merrill's Marauders. That's a project that's been input into the TAP program through the NRPC and the state, but and Kyle has been in front of that. But hey, maybe this is another way we can get funding to get that done, and therefore allow people on the west side of the Sauhegan River to have, or southwest side to have access to Wildcat Falls and the other things directly to that land, as well as the town center, because you put that bridge back together again and we complete that town center trail under from Watson Park, and we now have a huge dream come true. So those were the two projects that come to my mind that we could we have numbers and names of and stuff like that. So
are you talking about the existing, replacing the existing bridge, or are you talking about, remember we talked about something coming from the ball fields, but it would cost like $1 million?
Well, I was thinking the existing bridge, because it needs a new base and everything done, which is a couple of $1 million.
That would be a couple $1 million?
It's a little over $1 million, I believe. So yeah. We got a great deal when we had that bridge put in, and we bought it for next to nothing. And Keith Hickey was our town manager and worked with some volunteers to transport the bridge. And the state got the contractor when they were rebuilding Merrill's Marauders to install it. But now that we own it completely and own all the liability that goes with it, it's going to be over $1 million. So.
Just to piggyback on what Tim was talking about, those two projects that he brought up, and then the one that Gina was just referencing, that was the only thing I wanted to add. Is we've been talking for a while about trying to create some access to Wildcat Falls from the ball fields behind the high school, and at least having some type of study done as to where we could do it, how we could do it. That might be something we could ask for too.
Do we need two bridges though? I mean, we really just need one bridge to get to Wildcat. So the question is, would we want to have something from the ball fields so that we could, the idea behind the ball fields was so that it would relieve some of the parking overload at Courier.
Yes, but I'm saying we have a bridge now that we can't use.
Right.
And the repair of that is a lot potentially, and as a potentially another option to be something in the backside of Wildcat to the ball field. So I mean, we have it's kind of a seesaw. If we can do one, great. If not, then let's try to see if we can do the other.
Yeah, because I guess my question is, I get the impression that the people at the end of West Chamberlain aren't super excited about a lot of people parking down in that cul-de-sac there.
Yeah.
So if we had to choose one, it would make more sense to me to scrap the Merrill's Marauder Bridge. I mean, I guess kids would use it to come back from high school or whatever, but it would make more sense to me to have the one that would go from the ball fields. So the question would be, if we're going to ask for money, which one do we ask for? Do we just ask for a study to determine which would be the best one.
You know, Gene, on the surface, I understand what you're saying, but the bridge at the pedestrian bridge at Merrill's Marauders also serves as access from the other side of town to the town center.
Right.
You know, and everything that goes on there, Watson Park, the fire station, Buckley's Cafe, where you can get a great cup of coffee and everything else, right? And or you could walk to CVS and get your prescriptions. There's a whole lot that could happen if we could put that bridge back. And we finished that town center trail, which is already funded. It's just a matter of getting done, which takes you by the fire station and under Daniel Webster Highway. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess one is investing in something new, and the other is maintaining something that we've already purchased and paid for. In the case of the Merrill's Marauder Bridge.
Yeah. It's almost a rebuild, though. It's that bad.
Yeah, and you think of the height, you know, to get to that bridge. There's a, you know, it's up there.
Yeah, you're a good 60 feet off the water or something like that. Yeah.
Access to that, you know, to repair that bridge is difficult.
Yeah.
So it's.
So what is the next step with this? Should we can talk about all three proposals, right? And try to get cost estimates together for each one and work with the contact on this?
Yeah, well, it's due by the 15th, which is before our next meeting. So I think at this point we need to get concurrence from the commission which ones we would like to advance, and then you know, I can help to put, you know, the basic information together just to get it on their radar screen. It's, you know, it came from a rep from Nashua, but I think we should provide the same data to every Merrimack rep as well, just because they should have that information and they can be our advocates. So.
And would it not be a smart approach to try to put together all three of these and send them all in case the awarding agency finds one more appealing than the other?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
The only thing is that we just don't have a lot of data for this second bridge.
Yeah.
That would be, you know, more just a one page kind of here's an idea we had, which we could do.
Yeah.
The other two are, you know, pretty substantial, and we have data to back them up. So.
Mm-hmm. Why don't I work with Kyle, and I know he has the numbers for the Merrill's Marauder Bridge repair. I think he presented them to us just a few months ago.
I actually have the numbers right here.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so yeah, we discussed this on July 20th. According to this, a new bridge, a Merrill's Marauder Bridge, would be, hold on a second. Sorry, I'm just trying to make sense of my notes here. A repair of the bridge would be $660,000, and a new bridge would be 1.2 million. And I think the new bridge as in tearing down Merrill's Marauder Bridge and putting a new bridge up, but that could also mean a bridge from the baseball field, which I think would be more than that, but yeah. I don't really know. But yeah, so.
Yeah, I think that was I think the new meant a replacement of the existing. Okay. I don't think that was the ball field. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. So rebuilding it, 1.2 million, just repairing it, at least as of July 20th, was 660,000.
Yeah, I honestly, I think the numbers have changed a little bit because I was following it through the NRPC because Kyle and the town are looking to get a grant in the next round of 10-year funding, which we wouldn't get until the 2030 timeframe or 2032 timeframe, which, you know, puts it 10 years out from now. So the bridge will sit idle for 10 years before that money came in for repair. But you know, Kyle has the full write-up of the project. I thought the numbers were a little different, but I can pull them out as well. but it'll take me a minute.
While you're doing that, I just wanted to ask Nancy. Nancy, did you get the backup for this? Do you know what we're talking about? I'm not sure if you got the package.
No, I didn't get anything. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, while Tim's looking for that, I'm gonna brief you real quick on this because
Okay.
you'll know what we're talking about. It was a letter from Sherry Dutsey from
Okay.
Nashua.
Yep, we know Sherry.
And she said, hello, Conservation Commissioners. Pat Long, Chair of the Hillsborough County Delegation, asked me to reach out to conservation commissions in Hillsborough to let them know that the county will be receiving 80.8 million in American Rescue Plan ARP funds. Chairman Long believes that some of this money may be eligible for conservation projects. Therefore, he would like commissions to think about projects they may want to undertake, but haven't had the funds with which to work. Even if you think there's little chance of funding, we would like to present the ideas to the delegation. The money will come in two tranches of 40.4 million each. Appropriations need to go into the next two budgets, which means we need information back by most likely May 15th. So.
Great. Yeah, I know Sherry and Pat. So that's money's always good.
Money's always good. Yeah.
So Kyle submitted to replace that bridge. Total cost is $1,186,000, of which the town would put up $237,000, and they're asking the federal government through the TAP process to put up $948,000. So it is almost 1.2 million. So, but that's replace. That's not repair.
Yeah, and there's no way if that bridge sits there for 10 years, the repair is going to remain at 660.
Yeah.
That won't happen.
Yeah. Yeah, the steel infrastructure under the boards that people walk on is just completely gone. Never mind the boards being in pretty bad shape. So.
Okay, well, we'll push forward and try to get those, turn those recommendations back in.
Yeah. Okay, if you need help, Steve, let me know.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
See, that brings us to old business. The first item we have is the Merrimack High School Student Council and Garden Club seedling donation and planting meetings. Not a lot of developments on that since last we talked about it. They were able to get the seedling packages from the state nursery that they had wanted. And Gina has also coupled the group leading that for Merrimack High School and the Garden Club up with the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee. So there'll be a partnership there and they can exchange ideas. Anything else, Gina?
I did talk to Connor Tilton, who's the arborist that works with Eversource, because the student that we've been working with said that someone who works for Eversource, I guess someone's at the school, his wife works for Eversource, and gave them 100 lilac plants, and they wanted to plant them under the power lines. So considering we just had Eversource come and trim back under the power lines, I called Connor and said, do you want this? And he said, I'm reaching out to someone and they're going to get back to me and let me know what, they would need to give us permission to do that. So they're supposed to get back to us before Friday. Andrew Duane from the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee has said that he will walk with them. So I have put him in touch with Katie Selby. As far as I know, they have, going through and reading that memo, she said they would have 200 to 300 seedlings. So some of those trees will get quite big. I don't think they're all going to fit at Wildcat. So I think that we should make some plans for them to put them somewhere else too. I have told the subcommittee at Wildcat Falls, I gave them permission to talk to Katie and said, you let them know what the property needs, what the property can handle. So they'll walk with her. They'll tell her what the property can handle. I did send them all of the links to all of the trees from the New Hampshire State Nursery, so they know what the requirements for those trees are, how tall they'll get, how much space they'll need. So I think, they can handle it from here.
Excellent. I know in one of the original communications with them, we told them if they needed another parcel also that Wasserman might be suitable, especially some of those side slopes, the steep areas where the seedlings might help prevent erosion.
Right.
Okay. Chapter 111 presentation to town council. Will walk us through that, Tim?
Yeah, so I wasn't planning on actually going through the presentation that I'm going to present because it's pretty much the same one that I put together more than a year ago. And essentially I'm going to make some updates for it. Nancy, for your awareness, I put a lot of information together when it comes to Chapter 111. Essentially, Chapter 111 is our conservation ordinance in town. You can find the town chapters ordinances from the town website. Right now, it covers 5 parcels, I believe, 5 or 6 parcels in town. We're looking to expand it to 64 parcels and provide a level of what you can and can't do. We've been very conservative on restricting the parcels, but we have grouped them under some different groups. Some of the driving factors around the groups are things that are included in the deeds, and things that are included in the deeds, it just kind of has to be that way. But our whole desire to do this is to provide a set of rules around the conservation parcels that the police could enforce if in fact they wanted to enforce them, because it's a violation. The violation would come with a potential fine depending on whether the judge wanted to assess a fine. But it just gives them another tool to discourage bad behavior on our parcels. The police could choose not to provide a violation, just like when they pull you over for speeding, they can give you a warning and let you go. They would have that discretion as well here. But again, it's a tool. And I am appearing before the council on the 27th of May to present what it is we're doing. I have a lot of write-ups in detail that goes with it, Nancy. It's going to keep you busy for hours. If you want to read it all, it's up to you. I will summarize the town council, but I don't plan on spending a lot of time going through it, hoping that the councilors have had a chance to review it. And some of them have been around since we started this project, which dates back to early 2019 or even 18, I believe, is when we actually started it. With COVID, we put it on hold. But now we're back and moving it forward. So really what I wanted to let everyone else here know is that it's the 27th, and I will forward all of you in an email what it is that I'm going to present. I'm hoping that one of you or some of you can attend, because at some point I'm not going to be a Conservation Commission member any longer, even though I have committed to seeing this through, even if it takes a few months to get it through. So I'm hoping some of you attend, and we'll be able to, carry the ball once I'm gone. So.
Sounds great, Tim. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tim. The only other item for old business is our Seedling Giveaway. Like everyone knows, that is this Saturday, the 8th. It's posted on the town website. This tends to be a pretty big deal. Even last year during the height of the pandemic, we still had a very significant turnout. I think we gave away about every seedling we had, didn't we, Gage?
Yeah,
last year?
much, yeah. We only had a few left over, and that was because we got one of the seedling packets we ordered that wasn't available, so they replaced it with something else, and we got a lot of that one extra. But we pretty much got everything, I think, this year that we asked for.
So that's going to be a drive-through again? Is that
yes,
true?
I think we're intending to handle it just like we did last year.
Yeah. And 8 a.m. is when 8:30. It starts at 9, I know, but
I think it starts at 9. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get there a little early and get some buckets and stuff set up so we can shake and bake.
What time are you getting there?
I'll probably be there by 8.
All right. Do you want me to go through? I wasn't there last year. Do you want me to go through and print out? You know how they have a link on the state nursery website? Remember, I printed everything out one year and I put it all in a book. I know we don't want to be passing the book out, do we want that information in case people have questions?
Yeah, I mean, what we were trying to do, and either I have it or Cindy has it, one of us, is we were just keeping a link of all the, to links to the care for that one plant.
Yeah.
We just post those links we can just post those links on the website and people can go to it from there. So yeah, we do need to update that. I'll see if I can find that sheet. It's either have it or Cindy has it. One of us has it.
Okay.
So I could do what I did last year and update the website with all those links and all that data, and you can tell people just to go to merrimackoutdoors.org and it'll all be up there.
Right.
I can get that done by tomorrow evening.
If we get you the links.
No, I think I can get them all because they're all off the nursery. So as long as I know the name of the plant, I've done this 2 years in a row. So doing it for this year is probably a lot of the same links already.
Yes.
So
you saw, the last email I sent out has all the tree, has all you need then.
I'm sorry, Gage, I didn't hear you.
The last email I sent out had all the seedling types. Is that all you need, or do you need?
No, I think I have everything because I also have the flyer. So I'll leave a copy of the flyer available so people can download the PDF if they want it.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. I picked up the seedling sheets, the key sheets this morning, so we have plenty of those, and we just got. I'm assuming Cindy may have bought some bags. If not, I can pick some up Wednesday. I'm gonna be out, so we'll catch up.
Do you have enough buckets, Gage, or are you gonna need some?
That's a great question. Let me go dig around my backyard here, see what I have left. I don't know. I may need some.
I'll do the same. Just shoot me a text or something.
Yeah, we'll do.
You know what the deficit looks like.
Yeah.
We need plastic bags.
Cindy said she was going to get some. I don't know if she did. We were looking at. It had to be like about 24 inches long.
I mean, I have market basket bags if we need them. So
yeah, I don't know if she picked up anything.
Okay.
She was picking up those nice ones that are decompose after a while.
Okay, I'll ask her.
Okay.
So do you have enough help? Only because my son is moving that day and I kind of have to be in two places at one time. But if you don't have enough help, I made this commitment here before, so.
I have not really done a lot of due diligence to find out who we've got for support this year. So I may have one or two of my daughters available, and then I'm not sure beyond that. I know Steve's got a whole squad, but I'm not sure what he's got available to him anymore.
I'll shake a few kids loose.
Okay.
We'll come down.
Yeah,
And just...
I think he'll probably be good, Tim.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll get the website done anyways. At least I've done a little bit of what needs to get done.
All right. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us. Yes.
I'm going to say, does Nancy know what we're doing?
I actually did see something someplace about it, and I would love to. I have a first communion that morning at 9:15, so I can't go. But I did see a flyer or information someplace, so it's out there publicly.
You can go next year.
I will. I'll be there. Yeah.
I did post it on both the Merrimack Forum and the Positive.
That's probably why. Yep, yeah. But I did see it. That's great.
That brings us to other business. We've talked about any discussions or communications or correspondence received. Did anyone have subcommittee updates they wanted to share? Go ahead, Gina.
Actually, I have two. We'll start with, did you see the email that I sent out about Horse Hill earlier? Eric's nodding. So we got an email today. It's kind of unclear to me if this is a student or administration from Academy of Science and Design, and they want to use Horse Hill Nature Preserve to do a walkathon fundraiser. They did not give me a date, and I asked them if they can provide a date and how many cars. But they want to sell lemonade, and they want to put up some. Where are they?
A fundraiser for what?
For Academy of Science and Design. So it's a charter school in.
Oh, I know what that's, but I mean, we've never really wanted to use our properties for commercial profit.
Right.
So I'm just, what is the money going to be going towards this? I think we probably need to get that pretty well laid out.
Yeah, I guess I will ask, but my guess is because they treat it as a public school.
Right.
So I guess it would be kind of similar to if, Thornton's Ferry wanted to do a walkathon there. So you want to know what the money's used for?
Yeah, I mean, are they doing it so they can have a pasta party? Or are they going to be going to buy coats for homeless? I mean, what are we trying to raise funds for on public land?
Okay. Do you want them to come to the next do you want me to agenda them for the next meeting to come and discuss this? Because that was my feeling, was that they should come before us to present what they want to do.
I don't. We've had events in there that we've not required anyone to come before us for. I mean, we do the bike tour and things like that. They've never come before us.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's if anyone else, someone else has.
Okay, I just answered the question, and quite honestly, I can hand this off to Eric since Eric is Horse Hill. But I figured that the commission should come to a consensus on whether or not we want to allow this or not. So, do you have any other questions that you want me to ask them, or?
I would like to know what the fundraising is for.
Okay.
Because again, it's public property, and we've always kind of, we've always pushed back when people are trying to use public property for private gain.
Okay. I mean, I can guess what they're going to say, but I will have them put it in their own words.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah, and then only one other comment. You should set the expectation that they won't have exclusive use of the property because it's open property. So they'll have to be prepared that there'll be members of the public also out there.
Should I be asking if they have insurance in case anyone gets hurt or anything, or no? Don't worry about that.
Yeah, if that's a weekend, it could be quite busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that parking lot all the time since I live so close to it. And, this weekend on the warm day that we had, it was nearly full for a good part of the day.
Yeah, my questions to them were, what date time were you considering, and are they planning a rain date? Approximately how many cars would be parking in the lot, and what are their plans to handle trash from water bottles and the lemonade sales? Because I don't want people taking lemonade in the woods, finishing it and throwing their cup. So.
No, I liked your response. That was good.
Oh, the response that I sent to them.
Yeah. So I mean, those types of questions. I mean, this is we need a little bit of a plan.
Yeah, I can't remember if we have a trash can at Horse Hill or not. I know we have one at Wasserman, but I don't think we have one at Horse Hill.
We don't.
It's carry out. Okay.
Yep.
All right, which brings me to the next property. Oh, Eric, do you want to get involved with this request, or do you want me to ask the question, and how would you like to handle this since this is your ex officio property?
Unless if one of the subcommittee members has a specific problem with it, yeah, I think you've pretty much asked any question that I plan on asking.
Okay.
Just if they are planning on it being busy, honestly, it might just be better to do it at Greater Woods, just because they have a bigger parking lot with a middle school. Although I'm not sure if.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. It would be better if they're going to do it on a weekend. How do you feel about that, Gage?
Yeah, I mean, we've got the same questions. Obviously, when you come to weekends, you're dealing with not so much up at the school, but down at Bishop, there's going to be sporting events. So that parking lot's pretty full. So you're going to be up in the school parcel, and now we just need to get the school involved, even though it's the weekend. We need to get them involved for for clearance and make sure we're not conflicting with something other event that's going on.
Yeah,
The
see,
same questions reside.
yeah, the same problem would happen if we were at Wasserman, because with Wasserman, you need a town sticker. So they can't park there if they're from, out of town. They'd have to park in a different lot.
Yep.
All right. I'll be copying you on all of the correspondence. I'll copy the whole group. So we'll see how this turns out. I did talk to the Wildcat Falls Subcommittee. They do have some questions. They are planning on coming to the June 7th Conservation Commission meeting. So they will agenda them for June 7th, but they are also planning on having their own subcommittee meeting. They'll be in touch with Sharon and they'll set everything up. But they did have some questions. They asked for more specifics about the trees and bushes that the Merrimack High School wanted to plant, so I answered those for them. Their biggest concern is that it seems like a lot of the signs in the parking lot have kind of vanished or gotten knocked down. So they want to know if I can get in touch with DPW to put more signs up that say no parking along the side there, along where the wetlands are. Is that something that I could do?
I would think so.
Yep, I would think so. Yep.
All right, so I'm going to reach out to Lori then. Okay, and the other question is, they really, really want the trash barrel back. So is that something that I can put before DPW and ask if we can have that trash barrel back? Because people are just leaving stuff everywhere. So, which, we have this problem with all of the properties. But I guess my question is, does anyone have a problem with me at least bouncing it off them and asking if we can have that trash barrel back at Wildcat?
If the DPW is going to take care of busting that barrel, that's up to them.
Okay.
We don't have barrels at any of the properties.
Well, just at Wasserman.
Right. Well, yeah, that's yes, they do at Wasserman. And Parks and Rec, I believe, takes care of that.
Okay.
But
all right, I'll ask them. If they say no, then I'll just let the subcommittee know it's a no. So, okay. What else? That's it. That's all we have for Wildcat. So I'll keep you posted on if they have a subcommittee meeting set up.
Anyone else have updates from the subcommittee they want to share? Yeah, Eric, go ahead.
Yeah, so I did send out an email about a week ago about the trail situation in Horse Hill Nature Preserve. So I wasn't able to get out there. I don't know if you were, Mike, to see the trail that I was told about before last meeting.
I did get out there, but at the time that I went, I didn't have the specific information on the spot. I did notice, like all the properties, lots of side trails leading off. I did pull brush over a couple of them, but I did not. When I got, I think the day after I got back or something, you sent more information, and so I didn't get that. I didn't go to that exact post number, so I didn't see that exact spot. But I did get around the loop trail, and I saw multiple trails going off in different that were not legal or our trails.
Yeah, so I have talked to some more people, and this apparently seems like a serial problem where people are just making their own trails. I'm not quite sure what more we can do about it other than, getting the authorities involved. But that's just my update. So this has been apparently a recurring problem over the past couple of years. People just making their own trails.
Yes, the more people, the more. I'm constantly pulling brush over little side trails in Greater Woods, and I'll go back the next week and the brush will be pulled away.
Yeah, it's illegal. I wish people would understand that. That's destruction of town property.
Okay, well, thank you, Eric, for that update. Anyone else? Subcommittee updates?
Oh, I just had one more question.
Yeah.
Who is in charge of setting up subcommittee updates? Is that something I do in my position, or is that the commission or the chairman?
No, it's on our agenda for every meeting. So if there's feedback from the subcommittee or items they want us to be aware of, or if you've had a subcommittee meeting, I just want to cover the salient points without going through all the meeting minutes. Yeah, it's just an opportunity for you to do that then.
What I meant to ask was who is in charge of scheduling future subcommittee meetings?
That's their chairman.
Okay.
Chair.
Yeah,
I just wanted to.
you're a member on that committee, so you would be voting like everyone else to, what your meeting nights are going to be and how often, and that's now you're also now the conduit between that subcom and this body.
I'm not entirely sure if there is an official chairman of the Horse Hill Subcommittee at the moment. I'm not sure if Mark Gagnon has been named that yet. I know I think he's been asked to do it, but I'm not sure if he actually is officially the chairman yet.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone's got an opinion, but I believe that those subcommittees, once we put members on there, they run on their own, election. We don't approve someone who's the chairman. We approve that there's a member, and then that crew is now responsible for deciding who's the chair, who's the vice chair, who's the note taker, whatever. So if there's no appointed chair, then that's something that has to happen, as early as possible, and that they'll have to finish out whatever term they adopt.
Okay.
Right. And Eric, right, Scar will be having a meeting later this month, and that's going to be the first thing on the agenda is to elect the chair and vice chair officers.
All of the subcommittees, Eric, are kind of discombobulated right now because we've lost a year because of COVID. So what I asked the Wildcat Falls people to do is to get in touch with Sharon Haynes, and for them to pick a date and ask Sharon to set up. It needs to be at least 2 weeks out because Sharon needs to post it for the public. The public needs time to be aware of it. So they need to pick a location, they need to pick a date, they need to contact Sharon. And then once you have your first meeting, then they can pick their chair, they can pick their vice chair, they can set up times when they want to have the next meetings. They should check with Sharon to make sure that meeting rooms are available, because at some point they're going to want to get back into a meeting room somewhere. There's lots of little meeting rooms in town hall that they can get in and out of that. I mean, there's one up on the 3rd floor that I didn't even know existed until last year. So reach out to your people, tell them to pick a day that they all agree on and get in touch with Sharon. Make sure they have her email.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Anything else on this? Okay. That brings us to a presentation of the minutes from the April 19th Conservation Commission meeting.
Okay, I will make a motion to approve the Merrimack Conservation Commission meeting minutes dated April 19th with changes as follows. On page 2.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion by Gina, I second.
Okay, so on page 2, on line 6, instead of Cynthia Glenn, Commissioner Glenn. Also on line 2, line 36, Ellen's last name is spelled K-O-L-B as in boy, and that is also on line 39. On line 40, for consideration as an alternative. Looks like I crossed it out. Looks like there's a D in there or something. On page 4, line 42, instead of intense, it should be intends, I-N-T-E-N-D-S. On page 6, line 19, I went back and checked the tape. It is December 25th. On page 6, line 27, the gravel and where, W-H-E-R-E. On page 9, line 3, takeout from home because he is in his office. And I also went back and checked the tape on that, and he did say he's in his office. On page 10, line 13, Katie's name is spelled C-A-T-E-Y. On page 10, line 37, capitalize the S in Scout. On page 11, line 9 and line 11, I have Lynn Wentz. I'm not sure. Eric, do you know if her real name is Helen?
As far as I know, it's Lynn Wentz, L-Y-N-N-E.
Yeah, because I went back and checked the subcom.
Her name is Helen, and she goes by Lynn.
All right, so we can leave it
years.
either way.
Yeah.
Okay. On page 11, line 27, transformers should be transformed. On page 11, line 40, it is the Michael Loverm, capital L-O, capital V like in Victor, E-R, M like in Mary, E. And that's it.
Anyone else?
No, impressive. Thank you, Gina.
Okay, we'll vote to approve, accept the minutes as amended by roll call vote. I vote yes. Mike Laver,
Yes.
Gina,
Yes.
Gage,
I was absent, so I'm going to abstain.
Eric,
Yes.
Michael Druin,
Yes.
Counselor Murphy.
I will abstain as well.
Okay, that motion passes 5 in favor, 0 against, and 2 abstentions. Okay, and that brings us, there are no members of the public wanting to make public comment at this time. So that takes us to commissioner comments. I'll go around the horn. Mike Blaver.
I have no more comments. Thank you.
Gina, anything?
Just a reminder that turkey season, as you previously said, will run all during the month of May. So wear your blaze orange and make sure it's on your dog.
Great points. Thank you, Gina. Gage.
I have none. Thank you.
Eric.
I have nothing.
Mike Druin.
No.
Tim.
I have nothing except to say welcome to our new counselor. It's always great to have support from the town council and someone who can carry the flag and bring it back to the council when needed.
Thanks, Tim. And Nancy.
Okay, I just wanted to say thank you. I'm delighted to be part of the Conservation Commission. I have a lot to learn and a lot of catching up to do, but I was and big shoes to fill for Pete. So thank you, and thank you for the nice welcome.
Thanks. And I have no comments. I look forward to seeing whoever's there on Saturday. Would anyone like to make a last motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Gage.
Second.
Second by Mike. By roll call vote, I vote yes. Mike.
Yes.
Gina.
Yes.
Gage.
Yes.
Eric.
Yes.
Mike Druin.
Yes.
Counselor Murphy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, welcome again, and thank
Tim.
you all for joining.
What about Tim?
I forgot.
Tim?
No, I'm not voting anymore since our counselor arrived.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
Well, thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Good night, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Night, everyone.
Merrimack TV is committed to our community. From gavel-to-gavel coverage of town and school board meetings to updates on town services and projects, we aim to keep you connected.
Good morning, I'm Kyle Fox, Public Works Director for the town of Merrimack.
Hi, I'm Diane Trippett. I'm the town clerk tax collector for the town of Merrimack.
I'm Captain Matt Tarleton with the Merrimack, New Hampshire Police Department.
And keep the public informed of every motion
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
and many moments, so you can be confident that we're here for you. Thanks for watching. Stay connected. Follow Merrimack TV on Facebook.